انشالله صدای از ما در عرش اعلا میرسه. همه مردم دور دنیا باید صدای از ما رو بشنوه. پس لطفاً از پشت سر از ما تکرار کنین. We want justice, we want peace. Ashraf Ghani, wake up please. We want justice, we want peace.
Ashraf Ghani, wake up please.
We want justice, we want peace.
Ashraf Ghani, wake up please.
We want justice, we want peace.
Ashraf Ghani, wake up please.
We want justice, we want peace.
Ashraf Ghani, wake up please.
We want justice, we want peace.
Ashraf Ghani, wake up please.
No more patience. No more patience.
No more violence.
No more patience.
No more violence.
No more patience.
No more violence.
No more patience.
End the violence.
No more patience.
End the violence.
We want justice, we want peace.
Ghani, wake up please.
We want justice, we want peace.
Ashraf Ghani, wake up please.
We want justice, we want peace.
Ashraf Ghani, wake up please.
We want justice, we want peace.
Ashraf Ghani, wake up please.
Hazaras are patient. Hazaras are peaceful.
Be merciful, be merciful.
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 We want justice, we want peace.
Ashraf Ghani, wake up please.
We want justice, we want peace.
Ashraf Ghani, wake up please.
We want justice, we want peace.
Ashraf Ghani, wake up please.
Hazaras are peaceful.
Be merciful, be merciful.
Hazaras are peaceful.
Be merciful, be merciful. The song, Mamagan, recognize, recognize.
Genocide, genocide.
Recognize, recognize.
Genocide, genocide.
Paramanagam genocide, genocide شما بگین recognize, recognize یعنی این که همین genocide، همین نسل کشی باید بر نیوزیلند، بر جهان، بر افغانستان، بر سازمان ملل به عنوان رسمی شناخته شده که در افغانستان نسل کشی خاموش قرار داره. پس شما بگین، من بگم genocide, genocide شما بگین recognize, recognize. Genocide,
Recognize, recognize.
genocide, genocide.
Recognize, recognize.
Genocide, genocide.
Recognize, recognize.
Every day, every night. Every day, every night. Every day, every night. Every day, every night. Everyone please, if there are kids out there, can you please send the kids forward to the front? We want as many kids at the front holding up the sign as possible. Because in Kabul, 85 of kids at their age. Girls, where are you? All you young girls. 85 of girls your age, your sisters. Their school was attacked. They planted bombs. They planted bombs outside the school. They walked out to go to home, to go to their families. The bombs went off and they were torn to pieces. All my sisters, where are you? Come to the front. Show your support to those families. That could have been my sister. That could have been your sister. That could have been one of us. Please, all the kids from the back come to the front. We want as many of you to the front as possible.
We want justice, we want peace.
Ashraf Ghani, wake up please.
We want justice, we want peace.
Ashraf Ghani, wake up please.
We want justice, we want peace.
Ashraf Ghani, wake up please.
We want justice, we want peace.
Ashraf Ghani, wake up please.
Hazaras are peaceful.
Be merciful, be merciful.
Hazaras are peaceful.
Be merciful.
Every day, every night.
Every genocide.
Every day, every night.
Genocide, genocide.
Every day, every night.
Genocide, genocide.
Every day, every night.
Genocide, genocide.
Afghans are peaceful.
Be merciful, be merciful.
Hazaras are peaceful.
Be merciful, be merciful.
Hazaras are peaceful.
Be merciful, be merciful.
We're having a break with music.
دوستان لطفاً پیام اشغال‌ها داخل پلاستیک اشغال بخواستیم مشغلی دوستان اشغالات لطفاً با خود جمع‌آوری کنید اینجا را با نظم و بهتر انشاءالله برنامه خود جمع می‌کنیم لطفاً پیام بود از طرف دوستان
سلام این چیزا رو دیده خود شده چیز خود میگه که کدازما میگه چرا و باید دختره گریزه اسکریم ما چرا دیگر ویدیوش دیگه بگه
ارسلان جان چی برای گفتنی داره؟
This guy's trying to kill her, that's why she's screaming.
Oh, she's screaming. Okay, well then.
So many kills. This is that's why we're here, huh? Protest against this thing.
نذارید باران شما یک چی مثل امروز صدای خود را به گوش جهانیان برسانید صدای خود را به دولت افغانستان برسانید صدای خود را به دولت نیوزیلند برسانید تشکر خیلی زیاد باران شاید کمتر برسانید بسیار میرود باران تلفن نمی‌باشد در افغانستان بارانی هست این باران نه اون باران خیلی فرق میکنه اون خیلی فرق میکنه اون باران صدفنهی باشه باید اگه این باران صدفنهی اون باران میتونه باشار نکنید دوستان امروز به احترام خانواده های شهدا به احترام همه مردم منظور افغانستان خصوصا به احترام هزاره ها که بسیار شدید باید بلند کنید و همه را همراهی کنید تشکر دوستانی که در این قسمت هم دوستانی که در این قسمت پیام را لطفاً را راست کنید چون از اینجا قرارت مهمانات تشکر دوستان بخش سکیوریتی همین طرف چپ و اگر یکمی مردم رو پاسر میبریم لطفاً دوستانی عزیز پدرایی که شاید طاقت استاد شدن در جریان برنامه ما شده باشند خاطر پدران بزرگ مادران بزرگ لطفا اینجا برای شما چاکی آوردیم. دوستانی که در پستان و ما رو نمیبینن، هر پدر بزرگ، هر مادر بزرگ برای شما چاکی در پیش آورده و از پستان لطفاً تشریف در پیش برین، شما در چاکی انشاءالله بشینین. تشکر. لطفاً راه برای پدر بزرگا، برای مادر بزرگا راه اونا را بدین، اونا از پشت شما میان لطفاً.
messenger, please.
Everyone, please. One more message. One more message. Like I said in Farsi, I'll say it in English as well. We've got a crisis in Afghanistan. We need to wake up today and be aware. We need to protect that future. If we don't act now, the crisis will only get deeper and deeper. There's two things. At the moment, there is a silent genocide in Afghanistan. Don't hear that from me, don't hear that from a Hazara. United Nations, various international bodies have recognized that. But they've recognized that they're not doing anything about it. It's not enough to recognize it. You also have to do something about it. So don't hear from me, don't hear from us. This is a message for the world. We've got social media, the world can hear us today. We've got BBC, we've got the Voice of America, they can hear us. In Australia, they can hear us. In Afghanistan, the Hazaras are being systematically persecuted. What does systematic persecution mean? What does silent genocide mean? This is genocide, like Nazi Germany. They were killing Jews publicly. Hitler was saying, I will kill you. That's genocide. That's not silent. Everyone knew that. The world knew that. In Afghanistan, it's silent genocide. Nobody knows about it. Behind the doors, under the tables. If it's Taliban, if it's the ISIS, if it's the government, if it's any organization, together, systematically and quietly, they are killing us one by one. If I was in Afghanistan, I would not be safe. I would probably been one of those people that lost their lives in Barchi. Same with you. Please, this message. Every one of us can be media. همه رسانه باشیم. هر یکی ما میتونیم رسانه باشیم. صدا را برسونیم به جهان. هزارها نیاز به توجه بین المللی دارد. هزارها نیاز به کمک بین المللی دارد. از افغانستان دست کاملا باشین، از دولت افغانستان دست کاملا باشین عزیزان. همه ما شما در افغانستان تنها امیدش شما هستین. اگر ما در نیوزیلند، اگر ما در استرالیا، اگر ما در اروپا، اگر ما در امریکا، اگر ما در کانادا استاد باشیم، صدای اونا را بلند نکنیم، اونا هیچ امید ندارن. یک مسئله دوم اشکال ندارد. افغانستان زیر مشکلات. پیام دوم 11 سپتامبر 2021. این تاریخ را به ذهن بگیرید، ما بگیم چرا. 11 سپتامبر 2021 امسال حضور نیروهای خارجی، حضور نیروهای آمریکایی، حضور نیتو، حضور نیروهای استرالایی، بنابراین اصلا نیروهای نیزمی هستند. همه ما افغانستان ترک بودند 11 سپتامبر 2021. اونجا مشکلات بزرگترش آیا با ترک کردن ایشان در افغانستان چه اتفاقی خواهد افتاد، او را میذارم به همه شما. هر کلام ما خود بزرگ یک تصور به ذهن داریم. تصورها میتونه تفاوت باشه، اما یک چیز مشترکه. آینده روشن تضمین نیست. ما میگم صدا نفس همه ما شما اگر انحاص نشیم بعد از نیروهای خارجی، اگر طالبان به قدرت باید، اگر نظام فعلی که نظام هم نیست، حالا به اصطلاح دولت اگر سقوط کنه که انشاءالله سقوط کنه، همزون بودنش نابودنش بهتره. هر کدام زیر قدرتشونه، بدون نیروهای خارجی، بدون جامعه بین المللی، هزارها کشور مظلوم هستند. ما اقلیت هستیم، از بعضی اقلیت هستیم، از بعضی چیزهای دیگه هست، از بعضی چیزهای دیگه دوستان درست ما مظلوم هستیم. اما در افغانستان مدنی‌ترین آدم‌ها با احساس‌ترین، با سوادترین، تحصیل کرده‌ترین آدم‌ها ما هستیم. ایران نه بچه هزار نشنم برد افغانستان ببین چه خبره، در دانشگاه‌های افغانستان برد ببین چه خبره. از او جهت ما در قدم اول هستیم، ما قدرت داریم، ما غیرت داریم، اما در میدان جنگ علم و تحصیل اینا اما قدر غیرت ندارن که بعد در میدان باز، در میدان مدنی بودن، در میدان علم و تحصیل با ما بجنگن. اونا از پشت خنجر بزنن، از پشت. این تنها کاری که میتونن کار بزرگانه. اینجاست ما کمک نیاز داریم از جامعه بین المللی. تا 11 سپتامبر 2021 آیا در افغانستان چی اتفاق افتاد؟ کسی پیش‌بینی کردن نمیتونن. ما میگیم به عنوان یک اقلیت باید حق حقوق هزار افغان فراموش نشد. یک مسئله دوم، بین ما هست Hazaras are on the eve of a genocide and we demand a stop in violence in Afghanistan. جمله اولش که Hazaras are on the eve of a genocide بسیار آشکارم نیت ما به شما تشریح بدم، یعنی یک هزارها در آستانه یک نسل کشی هستند. اگر جوای نسل کشی نبوده در on the eve سبا اینا در آستانه نسل کشی هستند. اگر ما استفاد نشیم نه تنها ما جمعه بین‌المللی. پیام دوم دوستان خیلی مهمه، دوستان هموطنان عزیز، اگر شما هزاران هستین، شما نور چشم هستین، برادران اینجا شرکت کردن از هر قوم، از هر زبان، از هر مذهب. We demand a stop in violence in Afghanistan. در افغانستان جهنم همه مسوزه، همه در افغانستان مسوزه. ما وقتی که صبح در کاشی بیدار میشم یک انتحاری در لوگر اتفاق افتاده. 50 نفر 60 نفر اگر از قومای پشتون ما هستند، تاجیک ما هستند، قلب میشکنه، گریه میگیرن. همه اونا هموطنان ما هستند. اونا تکه و پاره میشن. از هلمند گرفته تا کابل، تا قندهار، تا بامیان، تا غزنی، همه جا مردم قتل عام میشن. خیلی مهمه. That's why our second message is we demand a stop in violence in Afghanistan altogether. It's not about Hazaras. امروز لطفاً این دو پیام در نظر بگیریم. این دو پیام خیلی مهمه. بله، من به عنوان بچه هزار کابل در افغانستان همه در بحرانم. ما هیچ وقت نمیشه فقط هزاران، هیچ وقت نمیشه. ما بخون به کنار این هموطنان عزیز خود
باشه میدهید دیست زخمی امروز قومای هزاره ما از کشورهای مختلف مثل آکلند و پاکستان نورد، کرایستچرچ و شهرهای تقریبا همه شهرهای خود نیوزیلند تشریف آوردند مقابل پارلمان نیوزیلند تا دادخواهی بکنند به خاطر قتل عامهای زنجیره‌ای در افغانستان. خب هر یکی از سخنانان دیگر اینا حامل پیام‌های بسیار مهمی است و برنامه فعلا تا هنوز را که برنامه که جریان دارد تا هنوز را خب رسمی آغاز نشده. منتظر مهمانای خارجی هستیم. امروز چند تا از اعضای پارلمان اینجا حضور به هم خواهند رساند و در ضمن ما خواستار ازی هستیم که در افغانستان یک همین قتل عام زنجیره‌ای باید خاتمه پیدا کنه و دادخواهی مونیم برای نه تنها مردم هزاره بلکه برای تمام اقوام ساکن افغانستان. اما به طوری که با اون شیوهی که ما مردم قتل عام میشیم و از بین برده میشیم، این دقیقاً یک جنوساید است، یک نسل کشی است. خب امروز به اون خاطر اینجا در روز بسیار بارانی جمع شدیم. دیگه امیدوار هستیم که صدای مظلومیت ما مردم را جهانیان بشنوه و خصوصا دولت نیوزیلند بالای بعضی نهادهای حقوق بشری دیگه فشار وارد کند تا که نسل کشی مداوم در افغانستان خاتمه پیدا کند. تشکر.
کسانی که رای کار دارن لطفاً به جز پدر و مادران که اینجا هستن بقیه‌اش باشه. امیر سیست شانس آورن دیگه شما باشین از این دوا لطفاً اینجا. دوستانی عزیز ایوان پلیز گفته شدن اگر دوستا بتونن کمی پخش شدن کم فاصله بگیرید چون پلاکاردها هستن اگر تمام یک جای جمع شدید پلاکاردها فقط یک جای گفتن پخشید یعنی ساحه رو باید ما بگیرید پلاکاردها تقسیم کنید پلاکاردها لطفا باید تقسیم کنید باید پیام‌ها گفته شدن. بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. برنامه شروع میکنیم انشاءالله. دوستانی که تازه به جای ما آمدن شما خوش آمدین. دوستانی تازه هستن خوش آمدن. برنامه رو شروع میکنیم. لطفاً گفتن که قسمت چین کم از دیگر فاصله بگیرید. دوستان چین از خاطر کم جمعیت ما شدن و همچنین پیام‌های ما باید پخش شدن. این پلاکاردها باید پخش شدن. یک از مهمانان ما تشریف آوردن. لطفاً پخش باشید. دوستان از برنامه امروز هم به زبان فارسی اجرا میشن، هم به زبان انگلیسی ما سخنرانی‌ها داریم، دعوت قرائت داریم که انشاءالله برنامه شد دعوت داریم. خیلی مهمه یک سخنرانی‌های انگلیسی از طرف مهمانان غیر مشاور هستند از دولت از سازمان‌های رسمی. لطفاً به زبان فارسی گفته میشن، به زبان انگلیسی گفته میشن. Inshallah, Allah will help me. Every day, every night, genocide, genocide. 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 Lead New Zealand, lead the international community, lead the United Nations, lead Afghanistan to invest tonight, to invest. Every day, every night, genocide, genocide. Every day, every night, genocide, genocide. I will say, you were silent, we say, in the violence. No more silence! No more silence! United please raise the placard. No more silence! No more silence! I will say, United Nations, you say no rotation, no rotation. United Nations, United Nations! United Nations, United Nations! United Nations, United Nations! Every day, every night! Every day, every night! Every day, every night! Hazaras are peaceful! Be merciful, be merciful! Hazaras are peaceful! Be merciful, be merciful! میدیا تشریف آوردن از تلویزیون نیوزیلند میدیا تشریف آوردن. دوستان عزیز، امروز پیام تازه کسای تازه امروز فرصت ما شما و خدا قسم اگر امروز صلاح بلند نکنه، اگر صلاح با دولت نیوزیلند، با رسانه‌های نیوزیلند، با سازمان به افغانستان، اگر با جامعه بین‌المللی نرسونید، هیچ وقت ما نمی‌تونیم. بهترین فرصت از طریق ما وصل شدیم به رسانه‌های جهانی، حتی ممکنه BBC پخش کنه. دوستان صلاح بلند. Alright, I've been told, okay, I will speak in English for now. We've got Farsi speakers, but we've got guests that need to understand what I'm saying. Therefore, I'll speak in English, please, but at the same time, we'll have Farsi speakers. Right, today is the best opportunity. Your representatives are here from Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, Hamilton, Palmerston, North Dunedin. Your communities are aware. What I'm about to say is true. One, when we asked the Parliament for permission to do this protest today, because we have to get permission, they very willingly gave us permission. They said, we'll give you security, we'll give you a voice. One, the police of Wellington. Shout out to the police of Wellington, round of applause please. Police of Wellington, I'll turn away. Thank you so much, the government of New Zealand. Police of Wellington, thank you so much. Why do we just pay for them? We asked the Sergeant Phil, his name is Phil, he's the Sergeant of Wellington Police. We said, look, we want to do a protest, we've been given the permission from the Parliament, we need security. Do you know what he said? Do you know what he told me? I can show you his email. The Police Sergeant of New Zealand, he said, brother, I'll give you as much security as you want. It's not an issue, but as a police officer in New Zealand, as a sergeant, I am aware of the Hazara situation in Afghanistan. I know what they are going through. I know what you are going through. I will be with you on behalf of New Zealand Police. I share my sincere apologies, my condolences, my sympathy with you Hazaras. This was the Sergeant Police of New Zealand. I can show you that email, the brothers are aware. One. Yes, so, I was speaking in Farsi before, I've been told, please, as much in English for now as we can. We've got international media today with us, helping us. They need to hear our voice. Let today be the point of an evolution. Point of a revolution. All you sisters studying at universities, brothers studying at universities, you will know the big movements in the world. The Black Civil Rights Movement, the movement in South Africa against apartheid, started from one incident. Black Civil Rights movements in USA. Rosa Parks, University students you will know this. Rosa Parks, an African American lady, she sat on the bus in 1950. Back then, it was segregation. The blacks had to sit at the back, the white people had to sit at the front on the bus. Rosa Parks, for the first time, the black lady, she sat at the front seat. She sat at the front seat quietly. No words, just action. She said, let me tell you why I'm saying this. Everyone on the bus, they tortured her, they abused her, she did not give up her seat. Once she was jailed, just for sitting on the bus, once she was jailed for sitting on the bus, it kicked off a revolution. Where every one of us is capable of creating history in the world. You are capable, be like Rosa Parks. But Sean, today, inshallah, today will be the starting point of a massive change in Afghanistan. We need that. This protest will be the first one. In Australia, we've told them, do the same thing. In Sydney, in Melbourne, where we are, do the same thing. In America, do the same thing. When we start the program, inshallah, everyone welcome. We've got most of our special guests. We will start the program. We have announcements to be made both in English and Farsi. We've got speakers in both languages. دوستان عزیز، من بسیار افتخار میکنم امروز به عنوان یکی از مجری شما خدمت شما هستم واقعا قلبانه است و شما همراه با خانم نیدال زاده و در بخش انانسین در انگلیسی همکاری ما میشون در فارسی. برنامه شروع میکنیم. شما باران کم شده. Firstly, we would like to invite to the front, very important for our gatherings, Mr. Fayos from Auckland, where are you? Mr. Fayos will start our program today with reciting holy verses of the Quran al-Karim. In our religion, in our book is very important because the best justice is in that book, holy book of Quran al-Karim. People teach you the best justice. Today we are asking for justice. It's the best place to refer to. Very good.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير.
I'm going to read the translation of the verse. O mankind, we have created you from a male and a female and have made you into nations and tribes for you to know one another. Truly the noblest of you with God is the most pious. Truly God is all-knowing, all-aware.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا ادخلوا في السلم كافة ولا تتبعوا خطوات الشيطان إنكم عدو مبين.
O you who believe, enter absolutely into peace. Do not follow in the footsteps of Satan. He's an outright enemy to you.
من أجل ذلك كتبنا على بني إسرائيل أنه من قتل نفسا بغير نفس أو فساد في الأرض فكأنما قتل الناس جميعا ومن أحياها فكأنما أحياها.
That was why we wrote for the children of Israel that whoever killed a soul except for a soul slain or for sedition in the earth, it should be considered as though he has killed all mankind, and that whoever saved it should be regarded as though he has saved all mankind.
إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Verily, never Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala change the condition of a people as long as they do not change their state themselves. So this is why we are standing for our people today.
سلام بر روح پاک شهدای زابل. سلام بر روح پاک شهدای دهمزنگ. سلام بر روح پاک شهدای جنبش روشنایی. سلام بر روح پاک شهدای مراکزهای آموزشی کرس موعود و کوثر. و سلام ما بر روح پاک شهدای روز شنبه مکتب سیدالشهدا. و سلام ما بر روح پاک شهدای سر تا سر افغانستان. درود میفرستیم به فامیل تک تک شهدا و از خداوند برای زخمیان این حملات وحشی شفای عاجل و کامل خواهانیم. به نام و یاد خداوند بخشنده و مهربان با عرض سلام و درود خدمت شما حاضرین این جمع، بزرگواران، پدران، مادران، برادران و خواهران عزیز ما که امروز در این هوا از راه‌های دور نزدیک در این تظاهرات امروز به ما ملحق شدین. تشکر و سپاس از شما. ما قومای گل ما که از شهر اوکلند، همیلتون، پالمستون نورث و قومای خود هموطنان وطنداران از شهر کرایستچرچ و دنیدن و of course از شهروندان خود ولینگتون که همینجا هستن امروز اینجا جمع شدیم. واقعا سپاس. درود بر احساس پاک شما، درود بر شما که واقعا عدالت خواه هستین و این را ثابت کردین. تشکر.
So like I said, they've asked me to do the English announcement. Right, we will now invite to the front our first official speaker. Our brother, Member of New Zealand Parliament, Mr. Ibrahim Omar, has joined us today. Thank you so much for being with us. He has to go to a meeting quickly, so please, we have, and I give it up to him.
Assalamu alaikum. Kia ora koto. Thank you all for coming on this awful Wellington Day. Wellington can be beautiful, but in a day like this it can be draining. So I really applaud your bravery to come from all over the country to stand up for this, for people basically who doesn't have a voice. We shouldn't have been here today. When I see the children, these children, what happened last week could have been them. Had they not here in New Zealand, had they not been here in New Zealand, it could have been them, it could have been you. And you're being targeted because of who you are. Just because you're Hazara. But what the terrorists and the perpetrators don't know is we are one human being, one mankind. We all bleed the same blood. We can be Hazara, we can be Africans, we can be Americans, we can be Asians, but we bleed the same blood. We are one human being. I know that I've been reading the Hazara history quite a bit, and what's been happening to you people is it's a heartbreaking. And on the watch of the world, I haven't seen, I've only seen very little condemnation of this event. 60 young innocent children have been murdered in a cold blood. Why? Just because 95. Sorry, I was reading the wrong article. 95 innocent children, just because of who they are, just because of their belief. This is pure evil, nothing more, nothing less. You only need be human being to condemn this. You don't have to be Hazara, you don't have to be Afghani, you don't have to be. All it takes is to have a heart that cares. All it takes is for all of us to be humans. Today, I'm joining you not just as a member of parliament, but also as a former refugee just like you, who ran away from the atrocities in my home country of Eritrea. And today I'm adding my voice to voice, not just as a member of parliament, but also as a human being, to condemn this evil act against the innocent civilians. It's time that the world has come together and to protect Hazaras. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. The people who are doing this, we don't know their motive, but all we know is they are evil, and they should be condemned as such. They call this, they're evil, they're not human beings, and we should all condemn them with no exception. And I that you all have your loved ones back home, and that you all feel God. You are scared. You are scared for their lives. As all of us, I'm sure today, all New Zealanders, the 5 million New Zealanders, feel your pain. And everyone in this parliament, your parliament, everyone I'm sure feels your pain. And today I'm speaking here in front of you, not just as a member of parliament, not on behalf of the government, because our minister is a responsible person to speak for us. And I know that our minister cares. She made it clear that her foreign affairs policy is human rights based. But as a human being, I'm adding your voice and condemning this. And I will keep marching with you. I'll keep crying with you if you cry. Because innocent lives should not waste just like that. So thank you all coming on this really, really awful Wellington Day. My solidarity, my sympathy with you and with your people back home. In everything that you do, you've got my support, and I'm sure the support of my colleagues in my caucus and in parliament as well. So keep speaking up for your people, because you are their only voice. We have seen the international community only cares about the powerful people. You have to be powerful, you have to be rich for the international community to speak up for you. So what you do is very important. You probably be keeping the rest of your people alive if you keep doing this. And in that, you've got my 200% support. And with that, I will just leave it there. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept us who lost their lives in this evil act of terror. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept them in His Jannat al-Firdaus. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give their families and you and every human being that cares about humanity sabr wa iman. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.
ما واقعا خیلی خوشحال هستیم که یکی از نماینده‌های عضو پارلمان از حزب لیبر امروز با خود داریم. ایشان سخنرانی کردن آقای عمر ابراهیم. تشکر میکنیم از احساسات ایشان و از همدردی ایشان. اینجا فکر کنم جا داره که ما همگی با هم 1 دقیقه سکوت را رعایت کنیم برای یادبود شهدا.
Thank you so much, brother Ibrahim Omar, for being here on behalf of the Labour Party and also on behalf of the government, because right now who's in government is the Labour. So it's very important that we have a Labour member of Parliament who is representing the government. And like he said, brother said that the minister is aware, the government minister is aware of the situation in Afghanistan. Right. We will now, in one place, will hold a minute of silence. We will hold a minute of silence.
And for your wonderful speech there, and just sharing your sympathy with the people. So of course, in your message you say that we as a human beings, just condemn such atrocities, and you're actually very proud to have you in the parliament. We expect, especially the refugee community, and especially the Hazaras, they expect a lot from you, and because you're the member of the parliament. And I here just want to take this opportunity to thank the New Zealand government and their services, especially in Afghanistan, because they were there. And there is a genocide going on in Afghanistan. This is, according to the definition of genocide, because there are a number of evidences which show that there are certain terrorist organizations or groups that they say that these people, especially they refer to the Hazaras, that these people should be wiped out, they should be killed from Afghanistan. And my question is this: you being as a parliamentarian in the Parliament of New Zealand, and we expect actually you to just pressurize, through the United Nations organizations, the Security Council, because what is really going on in Afghanistan that's not being shown in the media. Like as you said, like 45 to 55, the number is much more than that, especially. So what could you do in the Parliament just to raise the voice for the oppressed people, and especially those who are under the discrimination, and more than discrimination, at the verge of the genocide.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for your question, and you just raised a very, very important question, because what's happening in Afghanistan is nothing less than genocide, and we all agree on that. And I don't think any human being in his right mind would condone or accept the innocent people being slaughtered just because of who they are. And that's purely the definition of genocide, right? And I'm sure that at the moment, I've just been invited to this event in a very short notice, and I didn't have enough time to actually communicate with my other colleagues as well. And I'm sure today I'll be carrying your message back to my colleagues in my caucus, and I'll be asking questions: what can we do about this? If I told you that I have done anything before this, I haven't, because simply there wasn't enough time, and a whole weekend I was out of action because of it. I'm sure you were too. But look, rightly, you expect me a lot from me, and look, I accept that, and I will. The reason why I'm in Parliament in the first place is to be a voice for people like you, people like Hazara, and for no the wrongdoing that the people are being slaughtered back home. So I'll be raising this in caucus with my colleagues, even in a Parliament. We will see what we can do. There's a lot of things that can be done. If once you guys have write a petition and deliver it to Parliament, maybe a motion can be introduced in Parliament, so the Parliament can condemn it. But that's if every political party in the House agrees. So there are a lot of things that we can do, inshallah. What I can promise is that I will be working with the Hazara community, inshallah, to highlight this issue, to bring it to attention of everyone in a Parliament. Yeah, make it quick because I'm going to go ahead.
I was just saying the other day when I was coming to Wellington, I put a post on my Facebook, and there were a number of people. There were a lot of people on social media from Indonesia, Malaysia, from different, they were the refugees, and they say, if you're going to raise your voices against the genocide, please, you just talk about the refugees. You're being neglected. You're living here, without any result, without any, what is going to happen for years and years. You know about the situation of all the refugees, especially only from Hazaras, in the last 2-3 years, at least, 7 people, they committed suicide. And this is what they really expect you. And I told them, I promised them that I would talk personally to Omar brother, and he will raise, yeah.
Because of COVID-19, our borders have been closed. It's only now that we're opening to bring more refugees. So what I would advise these people is just tell them to go to the next UNHCR office. And are they accepted refugees by UN?
Actually, they are.
Yeah, because the first step, because New Zealand takes refugee only through the UNHCR. So the first step, the first thing they should do is tell them to register with UNHCR.
Yeah, there are some people, there are a lot of refugees who are genuine refugees, and they are under UNHCR for years and years.
Yeah. And as you can appreciate, there are about, we are having the biggest refugee crisis. It's not over yet. About 60 plus or 71 million internally displaced all over the world, about 21 million refugees. And out of this 21 million, less than 1% only get accepted for resettlement. So it's really competitive. It's really, really tough. And I feel their pain. If I promise anything here, I would be lying because I can't. It's not my area. It's the thing that it's the minister's job. But what I can do is I will get this message from you, their message, and take it to the minister, inshallah. And after that, we will continue.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
turn a blind eye to the numbers because we hear it so much. Dreams and hopes for their lives. These were 63 individuals who are entitled to life just like any of us standing right here, yet whose lives was snatched away on the happiest day of their lives. And if that hasn't evoked your emotions just yet, let's just talk about the 25th of October 2020 attack. On a maternity ward where 24 Hazaras were killed and more than 20 wounded. 11 of them were mothers, including 3 with unborn babies. Let me repeat that again. 11 of the people killed were mothers, including 3 with unborn babies. If you're struggling to comprehend it, let me break it down for you. That means 11 children having to live the rest of their lives without the compassion and love of a mother that we were lucky enough to experience. And if that wasn't enough, our community just lost more than 85 Hazara students, mostly girls between the ages of 11 and 15, and more than 185 wounded. My heart hurts as I think about these young girls who went to school in the morning with the hope of coming back. They never did, but their tiny bodies covered in blood did. As I think about these girls, I cannot help but feel a sheer sense of grief and loss. I kind of see myself in them. I was once that age, and I went to school with big dreams of becoming a doctor. Each morning waking up with the excitement to chase them. These girls were no different than me. Maybe that morning they woke up with the same excitement too. The only difference is that I got to be here and continue chasing my dreams, yet the dreams of those 85 girls died alongside them. And as for the 185 wounded ones, they will have to live forever with the trauma of horror and atrocities they experienced so closely on that day. You see? These girls are not any different from those school-going girls here in New Zealand. Yet those living here are entitled to have their dreams and their lives protected. That is why it becomes even more important for you and me to speak up, to use our voices to amplify the voices of the voiceless. It is ironic how we only realize our privileges once it has been taken away from us. Having a voice and freedom to speak is a privilege millions are deprived of. Let's not take it for granted. And while I have this opportunity, how can I not talk about the atrocities our people have experienced in Quetta, Pakistan? While Hazaras were being persecuted during the reign of Amir Abdur Rahman Khan, lots of Hazaras migrated to different parts of the world to seek refuge, but most fled to Pakistan, where they became an ethnic minority, and I am one of them. However, as unfortunate as it is, even Pakistan failed to provide them the safety we were so desperately after. The genocide only continued. I have vivid memories of growing up in fear, the sound of gunshots, the deafening silence that followed a bomb blast, and the chaos of wails and sirens. Following that are still fresh in my mind. I grew up in an environment where I witnessed one attack after the other as they targeted towards my people. I was used to watching the news horrified that announced the death of members of my community almost every single day. The genocide against my community in Pakistan started in 1999 and is still ongoing, with a very recent, most horrendous attack in January 2021. 11 Hazara coal miners were kidnapped, hand-tied, blindfolded, and slaughtered with a fruit knife. Slaughtered with a fruit knife in 2021. I'll let that sink in for a moment. Coal miners, people who would work their way through blood and sweat just to provide their family with a one-time meal. These were fathers and brothers, husbands and sons of people who will now have to live the rest of their lives without them. But did the world even know about it? Disappointingly, no. I wonder why. Maybe because their lives didn't matter enough to make it to international headlines. And out of those 11 coal miners, 5 of them were from the same family. Now imagine that. Let me reiterate what I said earlier. These were some of the most recent attacks I have mentioned. The genocide has been going on for more than a century now, and we are tired. We are exhausted. We don't have enough places to bury our people. Our graveyards are full. We cannot take it anymore. We cannot be silent. So if anything, let's speak out loudly with full force. Because if now, not now, then when? Let us all use our platform, our privileges, our voices to speak against the injustices. Not just against our people, but let's speak up against all the issues that matter to us. Because if we won't speak up, no one will. Kia ora.
با تشکر فراوان از خواهر عزیز ما خانم مدیحه جان چنگیزی از شهر همیلتون. قومای عزیز و وطندارای گل، ما کوشش می‌کنیم که بعد از هر سخنرانی اینجا به شعارها ادامه بدیم. پس قبل از اینکه ما سخنران دوم بعدی را برای شما معرفی کنم، ما شعار میدیم.
Thank you so much from our sister. That was a beautiful speech. What a wonderful way of expressing her pain feelings, which represent all of us together. So thank you very much. Before we invite our next Farsi speaker, we will continue our chants, Shugar. I want to do one thing. Sister there, can you please raise that? Can you raise, sorry, no, that one. With the, show that placard around everyone, the picture of the girls.